Well, hello, Sonoma County. So, you're ready to sell your home. Where do you start? Where do you turn? Who do you hire? Do you use a realtor? So many factors to consider when you're likely selling and hiring someone to help you prepare and market and sell the largest investment you own.
Right.
You know, everybody knows a realtor.
Yeah.
I always say everyone knows a realtor.
Most
or
people
two
know more
or
than
three
one.
or more. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And you can really pretty easily strike up a conversation at work or with friends, and somebody's going to throw out a name of somebody they know, their neighbor or relative that sells real estate. Mm-hmm. But you guys, it's so important to hire the right people to do this right, so that it's a smooth sale, it gets you top dollar, and it does that in the shortest amount of time. Selling your home is a big deal, and you need to hire the right people. Stay tuned, because we are going to share with you kind of the 5 top reasons why you need to hire Sullivan Group when it's time to sell your home. But first, I'm Julie.
I'm Morgan, and we help people move into, out of, and all around within Sonoma County every year. We made this YouTube channel for exactly this reason, to be able to share with those moving in, connect with more of those possibly moving within and out, and help give you all the information that you need to make this educated decision. So if you are thinking of making that move, if you're planning to list your home in the next 30, 60, 90 days, maybe even next year, let's talk about it. Let's talk about where the market is, talk about what your goals are, talk about what that timeline should be for getting your house prepared. We'll guide you through the whole step, and hopefully you'll see that we really are the right fit. And stick around, we're gonna dive right into 5 reasons why you should hire us.
All right, so you've made the decision. You're going to sell your home.
Yay!
Whether it's because you want to upsize or downsize, or maybe you've got a job transfer, or you want to move closer to family.
Yeah.
It's time. So what do? Where do you turn? Let us help you. Let us show you how we feel we set ourselves apart from your average realtor.
Absolutely.
You guys, anybody can enter the info into the MLS and have it online and stick a sign in the ground and wait for the phone to ring. That is not our approach.
No.
So let us show you what we do from the very beginning all the way through to the close of the sale of your home. That really sets us apart, and how we go above and beyond what others do.
Go above and
we
beyond.
do.
And through the process is one thing, knowing the process and handling the process. But I think one thing before we dive into these 5 reasons, but I think one thing to kind of layer in with that is just the level of communication and kind of the white glove service that we're going to have through the entire process of all these different steps that we're going to dive into. You're going to know what's going on. You're going to feel comfortable working with us because you're going to know what's happening and what's happening next.
And why.
And so you'll be kind of, along for the ride with us. Hopefully at that point you'd trust us, but you'd have consistent communication, and you would, have a whole team working on your behalf. Okay, so first up, we have the pre-listing process. So what is that? That's the initial meeting. A lot of times you'll hear this called a listing appointment. We will come to you at your home. We will come prepared. We'll of course have received your address from you. We'll probably ask you some, upfront conversations over the phone or email to kind of gauge maybe any updates in your home before we've seen it in person. And then when we show up, we're gonna have a ton of materials to go over with you. We are gonna have our whole listing book, and so you'll learn all about how we list a property, who our team is, who's gonna be involved, the process that we have a listing roadmap, and we're gonna talk you through that entire roadmap. So before you even hire us, you're gonna know exactly what we're doing. And then once we get through the roadmap, we're gonna show you a lot of the different strategies. We have no reason to hide this stuff from you. We want you to understand what you're getting into by hiring us and how you should feel confident in hiring us. And so we're gonna tell you pretty much all of our strategies up front in that appointment. And hopefully you'll feel confident in that and seeing that and say, wow, they've really taken an outside the box approach with this. And they're really pulling out all the stops, not leaving any stone unturned kind of thing, because that's how we feel about our approach. Then We'll also, of course, have recent sales with us. Those are comparable sales, or sometimes you hear them called comps. We'll have those with us, and those are similar homes, usually within your neighborhood, or if your property is really unique, it might be a little bit wider radius to find similar properties. And we'll be looking at properties that go back generally about 6 months and kind of see how long were they on market. Did they sell, at the listing price, above the listing price, below the list, above, below? Was it priced realistically? And then kind of determine, based on all of those factors, where should your home be priced? And that's not necessarily something we settle on. A lot of times in those listing appointments, we like to come to a range because there's still a few more steps that we'll get into that are going to help fine tune that price. So let's say we show up to your house and, based on the condition of your home and the style of your home and the neighborhood of your home, homes in your area are selling between 800 and 900,000. Fantastic. That gives us a really good range to then say, okay, where are we going to position your home best to show, so we get you top dollar, of course, closer to that 900,000 mark as a sold price, but maybe where are we going to strategize that listing price to get as many people through the door to get them interested to then make that strong offer. So we're going to look at all of those different factors based on your property, our listing process, and those recent comps included.
The next step coming right off all of that.
Once you then hire us.
Yeah, once you agree to hire us, you're like, yes, I like this whole system and plan. We really pride ourselves in the systems we do have in place. And I think, so the next step is the plan. The prepping plan of the house. And this goes back to like where Morgan was saying earlier, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days out, almost the better. So often we'll get that phone call and they're like, can we get my house on the market next week? And we're just always like, oh, it's like, yeah, we can, but it's probably not going to be done correctly. So
or as good as it could
be. Yes. So it's a little bit of a process most of the time. I mean, sometimes we walk into houses and we're like, wow, you live like this? Like,
congratulations to you.
This looks like it's a staged home, and let's do it. But more often than not, that we don't live the way we sell a home, and we say that all the time to our sellers, in fact. And so the next step is to get a plan in place to get your home prepped. That's I feel more and more, it's one of the biggest reasons you hire us. Is to allow us to help you position your home so that the day we do go live on the market, it looks the absolute best it can be. Whether that's, some landscape touch up, bringing in some fresh bark, or maybe it really needs a good cleanup and some additional
when you think about it, you only get one first impression, so you might as well make it good.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's what we aim to do. We have a unbiased eye looking at your home because it's not our home, it's your home.
We have no emotion involved
so
like
we can
you guys
come in,
do.
Exactly. So we can come in and look at it and say, okay, this is amazing. Let's make sure we trim these hedges to highlight these big windows. Simple as that, but you may not see it that way because you're used to seeing your home.
Right? Or touching up paint.
Right.
Or like we just recently had one where it was even like the second or third time we were out there, and I think you noticed that let's put a fresh coat of paint on the front door. That's the first thing people walk through when they get to the house. I mean, that was brilliant, so and then like kind of staging with and a lot of times it's with the furniture you have, but maybe that family room couch that gets all the wear and tear needs to go for the sake of selling your home, and we'll move something from somewhere else in your house. So we'll help you kind of have an eye for that as well. And then just kind of the overall plan of, I think 99% of the time, there's clean the windows, freshen up the carpets with the carpet cleaning. Doesn't mean like they have to be stained. I just freshen them up. It makes them smell good. It makes the house smell good. And a deep clean. I think those are almost always done.
Yes. And then coupled with that, which is usually kind of talked about between, the first step that I talked about and now what Julie's getting into of like actually doing the preparations for your home is inspections. We always do pre-list inspections with our clients. It gives you a written report from a reputable third-party inspection company giving a stamp of current condition again, unbiased. So buyers can come in, they can see exactly what condition your home is in. And then before we list, if something comes up in that home report, a lot of times people don't go up in their attics or under their house on a regular basis. I mean, we have some of the clients that are these, in the trades, these, maybe men that are very handy, and they even laugh and they go, no, I never go under why would I go under my house? Exactly.
So there can always be unknowns.
Unknown. So if there is a little something going on down there, you have the opportunity before we list the house, you can button that up and be able to tell the buyers that are interested, hey, by the way, this item on the inspection report has already been handled.
Yes.
And that just then speaks volumes to the care you keep for your home. So between inspections, staging,
all the prep work, with any kind of items we agree on, like we said, a landscape cleanup or some touch-up paint, interior, exterior, and then all of the deep cleaning and things. Really knowing exactly what product we're bringing to the market. And I'm going to also add that we do understand that not everybody has a big budget to maybe go through and do all the recommendations we recommend. But so then we'll sit down and we'll say, what are the most important ones? Which ones can we do? Or if those inspection reports come back and something does come up that's kind of a bigger unknown that maybe can affect value, we know that right away. We always say the worst thing that can happen is you get this buyer in contract and then something big comes up. You risk either losing your buyer or it's just a big crunch to the budget because all of a sudden now they're asking for a big credit and probably bigger than even what the fix is. Over negotiating. So our prepping plan before we go on the market is to get your house in the best light possible and to hopefully mitigate all those surprises that don't need to happen once we get a buyer. Let's get all that info up front.
Absolutely. Okay, so you've hired us. We've guided you to prep your house. We've had maybe the handyman there. The house is looking shiny. The windows are like glistening. Okay, please do not let your kids put their handprints on them. Just like keep them in the back of the house for a few days, please. I'm just kidding, kind of. But oh my gosh, sometimes our clients will be like, our house feels so weird. Like it just, it doesn't feel like you live there. I know, they totally do, because it doesn't feel like you live there, but it allows for when we bring in the photographer and the videographer and we get all the marketing pieces together, that house is going to shine so well and appeal to the masses of all the people that could potentially see your house and potentially see it as their new home. And so once your house is positioned correctly, we then ask for a few hours alone with our photographers and videographers and our whole marketing team to come in and get everything that we need to really then launch your listing into the wide world. We bring in a professional photographer for every single listing. You will never see me with I will be using my iPhone because there's some social media fun stuff that we do, but you will never see my iPhone getting the MLS official listing photos in any way. We have a videographer that comes in and we do property videos, and we of course always highlight our listings on our YouTube channel itself. With that, then, we kind of like to take a unique approach to our listings as well, because each property is going to present a new opportunity for how to market the property. Certain like condos and smaller homes, we really like taking, certain photo angles and things like that to really show the flow of those smaller homes, or the larger homes on, good sized lots or with large backyards. We are absolutely getting that drone up in the air and gonna show off how your home is situated on a lot, and then also take it up a little bit higher and how your home is situated within the neighborhood. Maybe you're at the end of a court and that's beautiful to show. I mean, that is so appealing. And then we also take a look at photos. If you've ever, scrolled through photos on Zillow or realtor.com, you don't have to be nervous. We know you do it. And that's okay. But sometimes you're flipping through those photos and you can't even tell what the flow of the house is like. You're like, okay, where is that? Was that room upstairs or downstairs? Is that room next to the kitchen?
That's my pet peeve.
It's so annoying. Sometimes they don't put the pictures in order. But sometimes even if they do put the pictures in order, it doesn't identify the flow of the house well, the way whatever photographer they're using takes the photos. So we like to take photos leading from one room to the next room. And then to take it a step further, some homes we even do what's called a Matterport. It's a 3D walkthrough tour where you can hop from room to room, do a 360. They bring this very fancy camera. Don't even ask me how it works because it's magic according
really
to me.
is.
And then that way you have a 3D virtual tour. These became they were around before, but it became especially popular during the pandemic years when we were trying to limit the amount of tours so people can go see it once and then go do the Matterport as a reminder, or vice versa. And so those are very different marketing techniques of getting the materials we need. Then we put those all together, button it up with a nice big bow on it, and when we launch that listing, we do pre-marketing before it's officially launched. We have a wonderful network here in Sonoma County and beyond. Our brokerage is across the United States. We have agent connections across the United States from other brokerages, and we are worldwide. And specifically here in Sonoma County, we have a great group where we actually share with agents from other brokerages all over Sonoma County and a little bit beyond what our listings are coming up to try to get some of that excitement and momentum going before the listing's even live on MLS. You would be surprised how many times agents are begging us to get their clients in before.
Please let us see it before it hits the market.
Exactly, and that could be a benefit to you, or we could just say, ooh, it'll be on market this Friday,
It helps us gauge interest as well.
Yeah, are we priced right? Are the photos enticing enough? We know they are, but that's okay, so it's really fun. And then we list live. And once we're live, we are sharing your property on all of our social media platforms with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of viewers. We have, of course, on MLS, it's blasted out to like 400 plus search sites worldwide, some you've never even heard of. But if there's anyone looking for a property like yours here in Sonoma County, they are going to find it online. And that is going to be their first impression with those marketing materials that we have put together. So that's why we really emphasize preparing your house the best we can and getting those marketing materials fine-tuned. And then we have a couple other strategies. We are part of the top agent network. You have to be in the top 5% of real estate agents to even be in this group, and we're able to share our listings within this group, and then we are immediately notified if any of the other top agents have, and this is top agents,
it's California.
Yeah. If any of the top agents have an active buyer looking for something that, loosely matches those criteria. And then we're, of course, connecting, we're on the phone, we are trying to figure out. So that's another fun way to make sure that your listing is getting in front of the right people. In addition to that, we have targeted ads that go out to the Greater Bay Area because, of course, we still have a lot of people migrating from the Greater Bay Area or other areas of California specifically into Sonoma County because obviously. And so we do targeted ads, different directions of areas that we know those people are looking in Sonoma County. And then, of course, we have good old-fashioned print marketing. We send out just listed cards to your own neighborhood because a lot of times it's your family and friends that are coming out and would love to move into that neighborhood, waiting for something good to come on market. And then, of course, we are hosting amazing open houses. We really pride ourselves on our open houses. We always have multiple people present from our team at open houses. It's safe, it's secure, everyone signs in. You get a very thorough feedback report after the open house, and then of course we're following up with all the open house attendees, so nothing falls through the cracks when it comes to marketing and getting your home in front of the right people to get you the right offer.
And I think one thing to add with the just listed cards too, we do have a team of 8 agents here, and with every new listing, we get our agents on the phones and they call everybody in the neighborhood around you, because like Morgan just said, that's a lot of times family and friends that are saying, hey, when you hear of something that comes up, I'd love to be in your neighborhood. And they'll get out and door knock too, if if it's a door knockable neighborhood. Of course, sometimes the country properties are a little difficult, but in like the subdivision type neighborhoods, they'll get out and pound the pavement as well. So we do, it's a very thorough canvassing.
For sure.
So I think Morgan just said the word follow up after our open houses, and it seems like the obvious to talk about that we follow up But I am always so surprised how many times I take some, like my buyers, out to see property and that agent never calls me.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens almost more than it happens that they don't call more than they do call.
For those of you that don't know, all listings, pretty much all listings, have that darling blue iconic lockbox. So when we bring our buyers through that lockbox, the listing agent of that property knows we entered. They know how long we were there, and they know when we closed it up. So they get a ping, a notification that Julie or me showed a property. And then you would have the same thing, which is great for security and all those things. But why wouldn't you call and follow up if someone went out of their way to go tour the property? Wouldn't you think you want to find out if it's of interest to them?
And I think as a service, when you hire us to sell your home, that's one of the services you're paying for. And honestly, that feedback I can get from agents,
oh my gosh,
is invaluable.
Yeah.
So we call. If they don't answer the phone, then they get an email from us.
They'll get a text message.
They'll get a text message. I mean,
carrier pigeon.
I mean, some of them, yeah. I mean, sometimes that's about what it takes to get something out of some of these agents to call you back. But I'd say in Sonoma County, we really, like Morgan said, we're a pretty tight knit community. I think I've referenced this in other videos, but there's like 2,500 real estate agents in Sonoma County, but about the same 100, 200 are the ones that we all do business with regularly. Right. And we really do like each other, and we do respect each other's businesses, and we know how important that feedback is. So I'd say maybe 2/3 of the agents will get back to us and give us some feedback. But like I said, that feedback is invaluable because, maybe their client just didn't like the house. It just wasn't a good fit. But if I'm consistently hearing that it's price, or condition, or something keeps coming up, then we can address that. But if we don't get that feedback, it's really hard to know, if it is in the event that we're not getting an offer, sometimes it's hard to come to an agreeable price. Otherwise, we kind of have to agree on a price that maybe isn't our price.
We had a listing relatively recently where we suggested, we come in, they hired us, they're paying us big bucks to sell their house, and so we advised on paring down some of the personal belongings in the house, and they disagreed. They thought that the certain belongings in their house spoke to the current owners, and that they have fine taste, and I could agree with that, but I think it distracted from the home. It was very personalized. And that was the feedback we got over and over and over the first several weeks on the market was, oh, it's a nice house, but I'm not sure. It was, I don't know, it seemed kind of odd. I'm not sure. As soon as we took down all of the belongings that we initially thought would be a good idea, that feedback went away. And they were like, wow, it's beautiful. It's so well cared for. It's so bright. I love the natural light in there. It's so interesting how, it's very obvious when it comes to condition, when it comes to presentation, when it comes to price. Agents will tell us, and we will get that feedback out of them.
Yep. And another thing that's been going on in the real estate market right now is interest rates have been changing a lot lately. So maybe what a great price for a certain home was back when interest rates were 2% and 3% might not be the same great price anymore.
Right.
Or just our pricing strategy may have to just change a little bit. So things are constantly ebbing and flowing in real estate. I mean, constantly.
Yeah.
And so follow up and the feedback we get from potential buyers and agents that show the property, whether they've come through an open house, they've had a private showing, they're making a comment from a post they see online, whatever, we follow up with everyone, and it is absolutely crucial to a successful sale.
Yeah. So once we've followed up with everybody, we've kind of narrowed in, hopefully, on one or more interested buyers. At that point, we've prepared your home to the point of getting the offer. That is, one of the main points of the goal, and then of course the end goal to get it sold for a great price on terms that you love. And so that's then where we step in. We have a couple interested buyers, or maybe one interested buyer, and they write an offer. We are expert negotiators. It is our job to work with these agents, to communicate with the agent representing the buyer, to find out, okay, what is their scenario? A lot of times if we can coach them to write a clean offer the first time, it makes things smoother. We're gonna tell them, hey, these sellers need an extra week or two after it closes to get their stuff moved out of the house. we really need that to be accommodated. Knowing that up front makes it a much smoother process for you to look at the offer and know, okay, this is a mutually beneficial sale here. It's always going to be a mutually beneficial sale. We say this in almost every video we make because a buyer will not buy a house if they cannot agree with the seller and vice versa.
Yep.
Mutually beneficial. And that's fine, but we are going to negotiate on your behalf. We're going to make sure that the offer price is where it needs to be, and the offer terms are favorable enough for you while giving the buyer enough of what they need for their financing timelines.
Yeah, they have their needs, and as the seller, you have your needs, and we got to make sure we can mesh those needs together and make it work for everybody.
Exactly. And so, at this point, once we get that offer, maybe we'll negotiate. Once we get into contract, we've already done all the inspections. I would say more often than not, when we've done all the inspections up front, you are going to have a very smooth contract. Maybe they'll bring in one more person to just give it a look for peace of mind purposes, or maybe they'll have Uncle Joe contractor come in and give them, an idea of, okay, if we were to rip up these floors, what is that going to look like? That's fine. They're coming to move in. They are probably making the biggest purchase of their life. We need to give them that time. But more often than not, buyers are not coming in when we have this big, beautiful disclosure package with all the inspector information from you about maybe any updates that you've made at the house or maintenance you've done at the house. They feel confident. So it really makes for a smooth escrow timeline, which then typically from when we accept the offer to when we're officially closed is, in this market, about 25 to 30 days if they're using financing. Sometimes if it's cash, it can be close to half of that, 10
if you
to 15
want
days.
it.
Right, of course. And if it's sooner than you need, again, I already referenced, needing a few weeks or whatever that looks like for you to get moved out. Of course, in the initial prepping of the listing, we will have all of that discussion up front of what are you looking for? Where are you going? What do you need to make it a smooth transition to get there? And then we disclose all of that information up front when we're following up with those agents that are showing the property and their clients are showing interest. Hey, that's great. We love that. We would love to make an offer work with you. Just so you know, we want to make sure you saw the notes about the seller needing
X, Y, and Z.
a few extra weeks, or the seller planning to take the riding lawnmower from the property or something along those lines.
It's always something different.
There's always something different. It's so funny with real estate, and no two sales are alike, and we'll make sure to handle yours as unique as it is to you.
Perfect. So as you guys can see, there are so many moving pieces when you're selling your home. Reach out. That's why we'd love to talk to you. That's why Morgan said earlier, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days out, reach out, because we'll help you get that plan in place. We'll help get the ball rolling. We can help decide if this is the right time for you to sell or not. I think another good point is if you're thinking of maybe some home improvement is needed before you sell, let us come take a look. Throw these ideas out to us and we can help tell you if it's something you should do or not, or maybe do this but not that one. And I don't want to see you spend more money than you need to if the goal is actually to sell your home.
Absolutely. Sometimes people over improve or make the wrong improvement. So we see that. We'll advise you. And honestly, just reach out. We can have the conversation. Is the market in the right place? Is my home in the right condition? We'll advise you on all of that and give you our honest opinion. You've already heard a lot about our listing plan, and we'll go into a little bit more detail when we get to sit down with you as well. But go ahead and hit the like button if you liked this video. We would love to see which content you like, and obviously we'll make more of that. Subscribe to our channel and hit that bell if you want to be notified when we release more helpful content about Sonoma County and Sonoma County real estate. And then our info is here on the screen, so go ahead, send us a text, call, email, whatever is more comfortable for you. We're happy to chat through. Just giving us a phone call doesn't mean you're tied into anything, but it just gets that discussion going, and hopefully
throw some questions at us.
And hopefully we'll help lessen any nerves you have about this listing process, because it is a big one. We cannot wait to meet you, and thank you so much for tuning in today.